Hi there everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're reacting to some boiling family drama, of course, on Reddit. These parents are actually insane, and let me tell you, you'll be shocked. Let's get started. My daughter hates my guts. What should I do? This one, by the way, you guys, trigger warning, this one is intense. This one probably mentions abuse, so make sure that you read this with a warning. This one is This is not a post to gain sympathy or excuse my actions. This is just my story and something I have been struggling with as the years have gone by. I had my daughter when I was in the early 20s. It was unplanned and a one-night stand. The father never wanted to be involved, so I had already struggling with mental health, and being a single mother made it worse. I have been in the psychiatric hospital. I have done crazy things that I don't like to admit. I'm thankful that my mom helped me with my daughter as an infant. Alright, this sounds like I will be reading a very brutally honest stories, and it does seem like you're owing up to something, and I really hope it's not bad. My father left me when I was a toddler. I hated that I gave that fate to my daughter too. I remember being 3 years old and crying at the door to my father to come back. My mother has her own set of issues. She had dealt with SA as an infant, and mother who has never kind to her. I doubted that she ever even loved me. My mom was a single mom working 3 jobs with 3 children, trying to support us since child support was not a thing then or easy to escape. She brought home a guy when I was little who ended up being physically abusive. The 2 of them would scream and get physical with each other. He kicked our dog until it and even tried to push my mother out of a moving car. A few years later, she got married to a guy who I was very close with, but he was abusive and had anger issues as well. One day, my mother punched me in the face because she caught me kissing a guy when I was 13. She's always screaming and yelling, and it was all I ever known. I'm so sorry. That is horrible. When I was a young teenager, my uncle me. I told my family a few years later, and nobody seems to do anything at all, but everybody knew what creep he was. I was forced to keep a secret inside and sit near him during holidays. I even overheard my mother say a few years ago that she thinks I was over-exaggerating. I struggled with a lot of abandonment issues, and I would do things that weren't right when they would leave me. I resented my daughter because I cheated on a guy I was in a long-term relationship with and who I love, who her father was. I'm sorry, that was just written a little bit differently. I hated that she wasn't his child, even though it was all my fault. I screamed at her constantly. I brought up a lot of different men. I treated her less than human. I made her eat and sleep on the floor, restricted her food, the time she could shower, and let her use any appliances in the house. I told her very hurtful and nasty things that were honestly a reflection of how I felt about myself. I treated her like a bully. I was a bully. I always taught her things that scared her and leave her in the dark. She would beg and scream on my door sobbing. I would rip her hair out and tell her all the flaws about her character and her appearance. You are a disgusting human being. Disgusting. I'm just like heartbroken reading this. I'm gonna cry. This is horrible. What kind of person or a human would do something like this to another person? Especially a younger child. Your child. Disgrace. You resented her for things that she didn't choose. For a life you didn't process. That is not her burden to carry. This is so effed up. I didn't want to be bothered with providing anything with her, such as essentials like bras and underwear and feminine hygiene products or any extras. I let my mother do it because I secretly hated her and resented her. You grew up in a nightmare and never healed. The survival is not the same as parenting. This is so messed up. Disgusting. I can't keep reading this. It's so hard for me to read this. I'm dragging this at this point, you guys. I have been in denial about my mental health, but once she left my daughter, her absence has given me time for reflection. I was so caught in things that made me feel abandoned and unwanted and bad about myself that all of these things feel like a blur. I couldn't control my emotions. I wanted to be better than what I raised with, and I thought since I didn't beat her, I wasn't being abusive. You didn't just fail as a mom, you traumatized your daughter forever. The fact that you are not realizing it, it shows how deep in denial you are. You're disgusting. I tried to apologize to her. I did tonight a few times, but as years gone by, I've tried to make amends and remind her how much I truly love her and that I'm sorry, but she does not want anything to do with me. Yeah, your daughter does not owe you anything, but not forgiveness, not closure, not a phone call, nothing. You don't deserve it. I'm sorry. OP, you are the most disgusting human being ever that does not owe up to her responsibilities, right? Why give a life to a person if you're gonna treat them that way? This was hell on earth for her. This is like a textbook example of why trauma doesn't just stop in one generation. If you don't heal it, you're gonna hand it over to your kid. And I really hope the kid heals because she knows this is wrong. You cannot undo your past, but you could stop romanticizing your apology tour. There's no one that's going to forgive you unless you forgive yourself. If you love her, just let her go at this point. Do you guys believe people like that deserve a second chance? I will never be able to forgive anyone like that. I'll probably verbally be able to be like, okay, I forgive you, but I would never let that person near me in my life. Ever. It's probably just too late for that. Too late. Let's read some comments, you guys. Sounds like you basically stole her childhood from her. My mom did the same thing and I'm much happier now that we're in no contact. I hope your daughter finds peace and that you get therapy. I don't know if therapy is gonna do it at this point. This is crazy. Literally, leave your daughter alone. You guys, that was a crazy story. That parent is disgusting. I'm sorry, guys, if this was as triggering. I cannot believe that I found this on Reddit. This is crazy. All right, let's read the next one. Let's hope this is not as bad. Am I the a-hole for saying I would disown my own daughter? These posts. This morning, my wife got up because our son wanted her to get up too. It is her day off and it pissed me off. I argued about that and told her that she needed to go back to bed and she said no because our son wanted her to get up. Okay, our daughter yelled for her mom to talk to her about the track meet she has today. That pissed me off even more because I should be the one who should be there for her to support her. I am the one who's always there for the kids anyways. My wife is always at work except for her days off. I did tell our daughter before she started track that I believe she will quit just like she did basketball. I'm not supportive when it comes to anything school related. This might be one of the weirdest posts that I have read in a while. Not because it's super confusing, but because it seems completely unaware of how wrong this person is. Spoiler alert, if you're threatening to disown your teenage daughter for going to meet track with her mom, you are not a victim. I don't care what you write next, but you are sounding like you're trying to be a victim in this situation. I'm so confused. Well, we argued about a track meet and she said, I'm going regardless to support our daughter. Stop being a baby and grow up. Exactly. I said, I will disown her just like I did my other daughters. They will always pick their mom over me and be their best friend. My wife then said, that is your issue. You're a parent first. Trying to be their best friend first is the issue. Disowning your daughter because I'm going on a track meet is a mature move. And arguing over this is just ridiculous. I told her I will go to every track meet I can as long as I am off or if it's after work. It is more than what you're doing. Then she walked away and got dressed to leave. I know she's correct, but I went back for more. What is wrong with you? You sound so weird. You're acting like a teenager or like a toddler. What are you talking about? Like you are throwing a tantrum at your wife because she decides to go? You're weird. And honestly, when you told your daughter that she's not going to be winning before she even started, that is not tough love. This is not some lesson that you're trying to teach her. That is literally emotional sabotage. You're acting like a child. I wish I could handle my anger like she can. I said some hurtful things to her. I told our daughter that it is either me or her. What is wrong with you? My wife yelled and said you can't be serious. Making our child, a 14-year-old, pick which parent is more important, leave her alone, walk outside or something. Literally, go for a walk. This is sickening. Now my wife's phone is either off or something. It goes straight to voicemail. I don't know where she's at. The last text I received was very long and lengthy text. She explained why she doesn't help me, why I ask her to on my schoolwork. She isn't intimate with me and she explains that as well. She also explains why she doesn't say much to me anymore. Is she the for talking to me? This sounds like a fake story. Literally, this is not a mystery. You are the problem at this point. You're so weird. I have never seen anyone get upset over that. Do you think this man truly knows what he has done, or he's just hoping someone will validate his ego? Let me know below, because this is crazy, you guys. Let's read some comments. Wrong subreddit, but you do sound like a Why would your daughter go to you about anything when you tell her she's just going to quit or fail anyways? You don't come across as supportive at all, which is surprising because when people write these kind of messages or narratives, they usually paint themselves in a pretty positive light. Your wife is 1,000% in the right. You sound like an awful parent. Get therapy or something. Yeah, you sound disgusting. And weird. You sound really weird. All right, I commented on that, you guys. Let's move on. Loser X won $5 million on a lotto ticket. Here's my story. Why loser? I guess something happened. Okay. My ex and the father of my son was not a nice human being. I had to flee the relationship when my son was 9 months old. Luckily, my ex did not try to have a relationship with my son, so I didn't have to deal with any of that BS. Fast forward to now, I am happily married to a great guy. Good for you. He wanted to illegally adopt my son, but the process requires the other parent to sign away their rights to the child. So, in exchange, and make the process as quick and smooth as possible, we decided to forgive the $10,000 in back child support that was owed to me. My ex was more than happy to be rid of the debt, and we were happy to have the process go smooth. 2 weeks later, yes, 2 effing weeks later, he won $5 million. Like, how is this my life? You seem jealous? Do you envy him? Okay, I get it, but listen, he's not a nice human being. Why are you expecting the money right now? It sounds like you want to go ahead and just like take the money at this point. You don't want to give the rights to your new husband? Okay, you're so funny. Okay, let's see where this story is going. Now I am torn between fighting for the money he owed me or just letting it die. I feel so regretful that we forgave all that money because even if he didn't decide to do that, he wouldn't have a leg to stand on in court. So give it to me, Reddit. Should I try to make a case and go after money or make peace with the situation and let it go? I just hate when bad people win. I can't believe this happened. I'm so pissed and I'm tired of things like this happening in my life. Being the nice guy never seems to pay off for me. You weren't being naive, you were being strategic, honestly. It's okay. Don't worry. $30,000 is not going to change your life. You finally have a better husband, a better life, and you escaped a bad situation, right? We do have an update, so we're going to read that in a quick, but in just this case, I think you should stop envying $5 million. Come on. It's okay. Whatever. He's probably going to waste it and spend it really fast, right? I have made my decision. I will not take legal action to reverse the choice I made. Good. Our lives are richer than his ever be without him in it. To everyone calling me a gold digger, you don't even know me or what I have been through with this guy. I'm a good mama and I will make peace with decisions I've made. Yeah, I totally agree. I didn't think you were a gold digger, but you definitely were jealous in sense of him winning the $5 million, right? Because you don't think it's fair. And I understand. Bad guys always win for some reason. I wonder why. Thank you for everyone supporting me and offering compassion to my situation. You don't go after money. It's not your money. Your ex sold his child for $30,000. Move on. That is hilarious. That is an amazing way to word this. I know. Your reaction was really human. You didn't chase the money. You felt a little bit jealous. You didn't chase it though. I get it. It's fine. Let's move on. Let's move on. Should I leave my wife? Okay, let's read. There's a lot of things happening with me right now. I, 35 male, have been married to my wife, Eleanor, 45 female, for 15 years. We have a 15-year-old son, Miles. For his entire life, I have felt like a single parent. I fed him, changed him, drove him to school, was there for every bit of his life, but she is so distant. She never pays much attention to him and mostly uses him to farm out cloud with other church's mom. He's on his school's football team as a quarterback, so I couldn't be more proud of him. I love my son to bits. Whenever I ask her to help, she always says that she did her part, giving birth. I don't like that. That is probably very emotionally brutal. She's also judgmental. We will be walking along, and if someone doesn't fit her ideal of a perfect person, she will always have something to say, disparaging them. The hair color is not flattering at them. I don't understand why people get all these ugly tattoos. Why is that woman cut her hair so short? It makes her look like a man, etc. It doesn't rub me the right way. Yeah, that is weird. She seems like a very judgmental person. That is weird. Another thing is that I'm just not attracted to her. I can tell she's a very pretty woman, but there's no spark when I look at her. If anything, I feel disgusted. I haven't initiated intimacy in months. Part of me feels like I gotten too young and wasn't given enough time to find who I was. I want to find a new life and run away with my son and becoming something unrecognizable. Let my hair grow out and stop shaving, but I'm so scared. What if Miles hates me? What if my wife tries to get joint custody or even worse, full custody? What if I never find out what's wrong with me? Should I? Okay, this took a very, very different turn of probably what I not expected. You are feeling a spark with someone else, and that is what is important right now. I'm really excited to read the update right now, so just to see where you at right now. I really hope that you get to be happy at the end, because you do seem like you deserve it. You are a full-time provider and you're full-time visible to your child, so I'm sure he's going to understand it at this point. Let's read the update, you guys. I understand now. I see what happened to me. I was groomed. I'm going to talk to my son when he gets home for school. I won't tell him about my apparently obvious homosexuality, but I'll ask him what he thinks about her potentially not being here. I told him I'm always going to let him have say in his life. I'm going to keep that promise. I'll sleep on the couch tonight, and from there I'll update. Update 2, something happened. Update in a while. Okay. Update 3, this will not be my final edit. I'm going to put the stuff in the pause that was in the comments so people will stop yelling at me. I'm also going to put a few small updates that happened later. 1, I was 17 when I met my wife. She was 27. And my history teacher at my Catholic school, she always paid special attention to me, graded my tests highly, and with plenty of compliments scribbled in margins. I liked her as a teacher. She was my favorite. I noticed her flirting with me the sooner my 18th birthday got. When I turned 18, she brought me cupcakes with hearts on them and said she would be interested for a long time. And I thought, yes, this is what I'm supposed to want, and accept it. We stayed a secret until I proposed to her with a ring that I saved up for. Not a real diamond, but I didn't tell her that. All I could afford. When my family found out, they were livid. I can't imagine. For the most part. My mom was, my older brother was. He especially told me we'll get divorced, seeing as he is a divorce lawyer. They had both left the faith. Dad was still practicing, and mom had divorced him by now. He clapped me on his shoulder and told me he was very proud of me for the first time I could remember. I had my son finish school, which was a nightmare with a newborn. It sounds like you were the one giving birth and taking care of her. I feel like the tables have turned at this point. I get it, she's older than you by 10 years, but listen. And I got my job. We moved when I got a higher paying job somewhere else. 2, I'm not a robot. I write robotically. I'm not making this up. Please stop. It's making me very upset. And stop PMing me asking me to the woman that made my life hell for 17 years. I'm sorry. We have a prenup. It amounts to keep all our... We already have a separate bank account since she's a stay-at-home mom and doesn't even have an income anyway. More on that in the final update. Going to take a while on that though. At this point, I have very solid evidence that this will form no fault in full divorce. Looked through her phone last night. Now for what I did. I talked to my son. You all said that this was a bad idea, but I did it anyway. I asked him how he felt truthfully about his mother and said it was just between us. True, except Reddit, but you guys don't know him, so. After a moment, he said he didn't think he had a mother, just a roommate. I asked him what his perfect home would look like. He shrugged and said, I don't know. I just know that she's not there and you are. We talked for a bit longer and I sent him to bed with a bowl of ice cream and a hug. Then my wife came home. I told her the bedroom got too hot and I was going to sleep on the couch tonight. She rolled her eyes and said, whatever. Charming woman. When she was asleep, I snuck in and took her phone, found something. Brother advised me to tell no specifics, so I'm not. Took screenshots, sent them to my phone, covered my tracks, sent them to my brother. The next morning, my wife headed off to mass without making me or my son. I asked Miles if he wanted to go to church or mass. He said neither. He is old enough to make decisions about his faith. I won't push. Fair? I like that. You seem like a really good parent. I'm so sorry that you're going through this. I went to an Episcopal church in my area. I know so many of you said distance yourself from the church, but my faith isn't so easily tossed aside. I still believe in God and that His word is good. I listened to the sermon and blew me away. Night and day difference. No droning on and on with fear-mongering. The priest even told jokes throughout the sermon and people were fully engaged. There was singing and all this reminded me of Mass, but with so much more love in it. No fear. That is really nice. I'm really happy for you. I went outside on the graveyard, sat on the bench and cried for the first time in a long time. I figured the graveyard is the most natural place to be crying like a baby. I'm going back next week. That is very nice and therapeutic, I guess. Thank you for the person who suggested this. I really needed it. Yeah, going to a graveyard is actually very therapeutic in my sense. It brings you into senses and slows down the life a bit. I was actually thinking about that too. He was ecstatic to hear from me and even more to hear I wanted to leave Eleanor. We work things out and have a plan in case this makes to court. I will not go into it. I also looked up therapists in my area and found one with a network. I am meeting with her in 2 weeks. Pretty much just gonna trauma dump and end up crying again, I think, but I'm sure it will be good for me. I have also been thinking about looking into antidepressants. Not a bad idea. That is fine. Get your own cocktail. I have good support system right now for when I leave. And when I ask for divorce, I'll make sure my son isn't home. Maybe staying with my mom or something. She lives about 2 hours away and he will want to see grandma. I'll update when things change. I won't be answering questions pertaining about any legal in the comments, but I will still reply to comments though. Have a good one. Guys, this was 2 months ago, so I think this is still processing. That was a long one. This is like one of the toughest stories I've read with a plot twist, or I wouldn't say it's a plot twist. And I'm so glad you're leaving someone who does not deserve you. So kudos for you. And I'm so happy that is happening to you guys. Let me know, you guys, what would you do in a situation like this? Have you ever stayed in something because it felt safer than starting over? Let's talk in the comments down below. But let me read some of the Reddit post comment. The internet can make your choice to leave your wife for you. You sound unhappy and have been for years. Make this choice for yourself and go enjoy the rest of your life while you're still young. This is such a perfect way to say it. Nothing really matters unless you're happy. So, alright guys, this was all for today. Let me know in the comments what you thought about these. These were crazy. I want to see you in my next video. Make sure you check all the links in the description. I want to also see you on my beauty channel, so check that one out in the description as well. But for now, goodbye.